It doesn't appear to be working. Hello? Are you there? Siri? Hello?
It's me, Phil Carpal here, and today we're going to be reviewing the Yeezy 700 Mnvn. And the first thing I want to get into with these is the name is kind of wonky, because on the website, when I bought them, they were listed as Yeezy Mnvn Geode, right? I've heard Mnvn stands for movement. I don't see how that spells movement at all, or is supposed to stand for movement, so I call these Mnvn. I'm gonna dock that as a point against these shoes first off, because there's no reason to keep syllables out of things. I know it's a cool stylized thing, I get it, but it gets to a point, I don't know what Mnvn is supposed to mean. Yeah, these are the Geode variant. You can't tell too much of a difference. They're slightly purple, and then there's like the white ones that are plain white. They're supposed to release like a green tinted version, and out of all the Yeezys I've worn, these are definitely easily the least comfortable. So the 700 silhouette in general isn't really one of my favorites. Like, as someone who would consider themselves a connoisseur of Yeezys, right? Out of all the Yeezys I've worn, which is only 3 pairs, I've only worn these 350s and foam runners. I gotta say, out of all of those, these are easily the least comfortable. Mostly because maybe there's something to do with how it fits. If you look, see how it kind of sits over the edge right there? I don't know how well that shows up. Yeah, that's because this sole is too thin for my fat foot. So that means they'll be comfortable, they'll hug your foot for a while when you first get them. But after a while, you're gonna be like, hey, this fucking is really starting to hurt, because this sole starts to dig into the side of your foot.
Another big disappointment with this is if you look at this, you can't really tell, but that, like, whatever they use for that feels like the cheap, like, Chinese shit that they use on hoodies that you get for like $10 and stuff like that. Like, I mean, it hasn't like brought the structural integrity of the shoe into question, but it's not in the shoe's favor.
In terms of visual design, I really have mixed feelings on it, because I think, look at it from this angle, and it's really beautiful. It's really, really nice. And then this side is just nothing. And that's one thing that really bothers me. I was originally actually not a fan of a lot of the 700, like the Wave Runners, all of those different 700 styles. I wasn't too into them. Even this, I wasn't a big fan of the whole silhouette. Look at this. This is such a missed design opportunity. The least you could have done was put that on this side, or do something with it, because it's just kind of there. The worst part about these shoes is, and the reason that I keep them filthy, is because you are going to destroy these things the more that you wear them, and I can already tell that. True of any shoes, of course, but if you look here, these lip things here, and they will get bent every time you go to put your shoe in, because you're not untying these laces. I'm cool with laceless. I think that's awesome, but I think laceless definitely lends itself better to something like, say, foam runners or the knit runners, where it is integrated into the design. I think that is a much better way of doing it, and while I think this looks awesome, in terms of functionality, that is going to destroy these shoes the more that I wear them. So they've kind of become my beater Yeezys. I have my foam runners. I love my foam runners. That is my favorite pair of shoes that I own. But the only problem with the foam runners is because of the holes, you are not going to want to be wearing those when it's cold, because your foot will get very cold unless you're wearing thick ass socks. So these definitely will keep your feet warm, but any pair of shoes realistically would. Aside from all of that, I still wear these, pretty frequently. There's a lot of good ideas with it, and I feel like it could have gone more places. That sole is way too thin. It's just kind of a weird in-between where it's like, I would just wear normal shoes at this point. I'm not gonna wear some expensive Yeezys if I'm getting something like this. I'm wearing these because I bought them, so I'm gonna get my money's worth out of them, and I don't care. I'm not one of those that's like, oh, these are collector's items. I'm gonna keep these on a shelf. And I bought these, like, I think $220 retail. You think I'm gonna let that sit on a shelf? That's gonna stay on my feet until it falls apart. One thing I do like about the design, I don't know if this is a new logo or whatever. I don't know if you can see that, but there's like a globe in there, and I think that's really neat. And it kind of gets into my issue with a lot of Yeezys, is you have stuff like the foam runners, the 350s, the 450s, the knit runners, and the insulated boots and all that are very polarizing and definitely pushing things forward in terms of a design philosophy, and I think are more of what I would want to see from Yeezy. And then you have stuff like this. that is kind of an in-between of like, oh yeah, it's like a normal shoe, but it's also a little bit weird. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's just kind of a regular shoe. I mean, you know, not much to say about it. In terms of the price, it's definitely not worth the price. I mean, $220 for shoes that are not like consistently comfortable is terrible. It's completely terrible. Especially when, if you're talking retail at least, you can get a pair of foam runners. Retail foam runners, you could get a pair for $80. If you get them aftermarket, you could get some for about the price that these would go for brand new. If you're looking to get a pair of Yeezys, I would get the foam runners a heartbeat compared to these. I mean, seriously, it's not really a competition even. I mean, that's like my golden standard though, I'll say that. Overall, I'm gonna give these shoes 700 out of 2,000. There we go. So about 7 out of 20. So not too good, not too bad. It's definitely something to wear. And if you bought a pair, I mean, you already bought a pair. You know, you're already committed, whatever. This is a new series I'm going to be starting. I'm going to be doing this semi-frequently. It will be Phil Carpal reviews things, and I will be talking about and reviewing whatever I believe to be something that is worth reviewing. And if you all enjoy this video, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you tell me how to turn this camera off, because I'm not really sure. Is there some kind of button? Some kind of command? Hello Siri, can you turn off my camera?